In April 2007, my buddy Andrew Kettner and I ran the Boston Marathon, the actual Boston Marathon, all 26.2 miles of it. And get this, we decided to run the marathon about 4 weeks earlier. No ramp up, no long planning, no qualifications, no registrations, just running. At the time, I was a senior at Norwich University and in the best shape of my life. I was in Army ROTC, and at the time of the marathon, I was 2 months away from commissioning as an Army officer. So I would often run between 5 and 7 miles as part of my physical training regimen. Surviving a marathon was never a concern to me as a 21-year-old fit young man. But yeah, I ran my first and only marathon at 21 years old. These two pictures are the only evidence I have that it ever even happened. That and the testimony of my friends who were there to support me. I've made many questionable decisions in my life, but running a marathon without any proper training is undoubtedly the craziest. In hindsight, and I'll probably need Andrew to fact check me on this, but I believe the whole thing started as a bet amongst friends. My buddies didn't think we would actually go through with it. That's all it took. But again, don't judge me, because after Andrew and I committed to it, we began training a little. The longest distance we ran before the marathon was 11 miles. A friend dropped us off in Barry, Vermont, and Andrew and I ran the 11 miles back to campus from Barry. When we felt great doing it, we gave the final green light, all systems go. So April 16th, 2007, Andrew Kettner and I were running the Boston Marathon along with thousands of other runners who probably trained their entire life for this moment. If you didn't judge me before, you will definitely judge me now, because the night before the race, Andrew and I went out and grabbed a beer from a local brewery in Boston to psych ourselves into actually going through with it. Again, not my finals moment, but this entire experience will set the stage for this course, because leadership is a lot like a marathon. The miles, the training or lack thereof, the discipline, the vision, the focus, the endurance, the pain, the sacrifice, the reward. So in this leadership lab, I will provide practical, applied leadership lessons through 6 very important elements of a marathon. What I'm not gonna do is teach you how to prepare for your own actual marathon. Trust me, you don't wanna follow my model, because you will blame me for life. Okay, let's get started. The first leadership principle is reckless abandonment. That's a crazy term, I know. Stay with me though, because as a leader, you have to actually believe you will accomplish whatever crazy and wild vision you come up with. It's not enough to just say it. You have to believe it with your entire being. You have to see the end before the race even starts. You have to go all in, because the people we lead won't believe it as deeply as you until they see it as deeply as you see it. You have to be willing to bet the farm. But here's a very important distinction. Don't blur the line between vision and insanity. The best leaders measure the gauges of their ideas to ensure it's rooted in reality. Reckless abandonment is not foolish endangerment. It's a deep intrinsic belief in one's own ability to succeed. That's what leaders must have before the race begins. So as we prepare to get started, remember to use the discussion feature of this platform. Give us your thoughts and your feedback. And like always, give us all of your takeaways. Let's get started. Before the race ever started, Andrew and I already decided something internally. We weren't wondering if we could finish. We had already convinced ourselves that we would. We knew it. We knew we would finish. That belief mattered more than our lack of preparation. And while I would never, ever recommend running a marathon this way, that internal conviction is exactly where leadership begins. Reckless abandonment in leadership is about belief, not surface level belief, not motivational poster belief. I'm talking about the kind of belief that settles deep in your gut, the kind where you've already crossed the finish line in your mind before the race even starts. But here's the truth. Your team may like the vision. They may agree with the strategy, but they will never believe in it more than you do. People don't follow ideas. They follow conviction. So let's be clear. Reckless abandonment is not foolish endangerment. This isn't about charging ahead without thinking. The best leaders I've ever known know how to measure risk. They study the terrain. They understand the costs, but they still commit fully. They still go all in because leadership requires a willingness to bet something meaningful on the outcome. If you're not willing to risk comfort, credibility, or convenience, your team will feel it and they'll hedge right along with you. Before the race starts, leaders must answer one question honestly. Do I actually believe in this? Do I think this is really possible? Because if you don't, your team will sense it long before the first mile marker. Reckless abandonment is deciding before the race that quitting is not on the table. So before we move on, I have a pretty cool activity I'd like you to try. I want you to pause for a moment because, again, belief isn't theoretical. It shows up in actions, in risks, and in what you're willing to lose. In the Leadership Lab, we're going to slow this down and examine what you're actually committing to right now, what you're holding back from right now, and whether your actions truly match the vision your people, your team, and your subordinates are asking to believe in. Take a minute and do this journaling exercise together, and let's finish when you're done.